I have with me, of course, as my guest for this afternoon, just to discuss more around the state of municipalities and, of course, what we are seeing in the city of Johannesburg. And, of course, the council, just electing a new mayor there, as you've just seen. But it's not the only metro that's facing leadership challenges. There's been a power struggle in Ekurhuleni and Tshwane as well. So we ask this afternoon, how does all of this bode for service delivery? Well, to answer this and many other questions, we're now joined by Gauteng Co-Operative Governance and Traditional Affairs MEC Mzi Khumalo. Mr. Khumalo, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Well, let's start with the city of Johannesburg. And I mean, we've just seen now the new mayor having taken the podium and, saying very, very key things that essentially people in Gauteng have been calling for, saying that they will be prioritizing service delivery. And of course, also saying that as a multi-party council, they must promote unity. Also saying there about, putting the people first, which is key, promoting good governance and having a sound financial structure. Let's get your reaction firstly, to what we've just seen now and witnessed over the past couple of, I think, 24 hours in Johannesburg.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers. The first thing is we proud that Johannesburg has acted in the manner they did. I mean, the motion was passed yesterday, and today we've got the mayor. That on its own contributes towards the political stability that we want in that administration. The second thing is to congratulate the new mayor, executive mayor of Johannesburg. And I was listening to him attentively, and he was saying all the right things that we think that would contribute towards the political stability of municipality. Key to that was the Back to Basic program, which program, even at a provincial level, we're running it and we're encouraging municipality to engage themselves in it. I'm happy because we will partner with him on the Back to Basic program, wherein we're looking at what are the basic things that a municipality should do. Provide water, provide electricity, ensure that there is cleaning our environment, and all of those kind of things that the municipality must do. We will work with them, ensuring accountability, running clean governance, and all of those kind of things. We think that we'll partner with him. In the past, of course, one of the difficulties that we were faced up is that we did not have a lot of cooperation from the mayor of Johannesburg, the one that was removed. The same thing you find in Tshwane. Even when you convene them, they will send junior staff to come and engage with yourself. And as a provincial government, we are happy and listening to what the executive mayor said. I see greater cooperation from the city of Johannesburg.
So you've mentioned, two municipalities there, or metros in Gauteng, but it is quite problematic. While South Africans realize that coalition governments are inevitable, especially since the 2021 local government elections, we know that this is going to be something that we have to live with. What is, however, concerning is how commonplace it has been, particularly in the city of Johannesburg, for mayors to be voted out, for reinstatements of mayors, because we don't even know how long Mr. Ahmed is going to last in that position. We know that the ANC issued a statement saying that he is a transitional mayor. So a lot of concern there around just the stability of municipalities based on just how they're structured when we start talking about, coalition governments. Are you concerned about what we are currently seeing now? We're not only just talking the city of Johannesburg. You mentioned Tshwane. There's also Ekurhuleni. We have been seeing infighting too, just the behavior in council. It does appear that this is more jostling of power, more than putting the people first, as the new mayor has just said.
I think we must look at it at two levels. The first level is that a municipality runs on the basis of its budget that it has adopted. And if we look at the time where we're in, there is no way the executive mayor can change the current budget, but all that they'll have to do is to accelerate the implementation and reprioritize within the budget provided. The second point is that we have to ensure that we build resilient administration in municipalities. such that those administration must be able to help a municipality to do the basic things. Look, if you're the executive mayor, you can't come in and say, I'm not interested in providing water to our people. I'm not interested in refuse removal and all of those kinds. Those are the basic things that we think a municipality will do. Of course, there will be certain policy that relates to empowerment of communities and all of those kind of things, which politics depends largely on what party is there at a given time. So we need to look at it from that context. The other level that we must look at it is that these are political processes that are taking place in that particular council, and these political processes are informed by the outcome of the elections. Unfortunately, we'll have to respect what the citizens of Johannesburg has given to us. And everything is plays out from that point of view. We never had a party with an outright majority, and that is why we'll have to nourish these coalition government as we see them. What gives me particularly hope is that this time around there was a change of strategy from political parties in Johannesburg themselves. They opted for a minority party to lead them. So it means the two big parties, the African National Congress and the EFF, are in support of this candidate. That we hope would, to a certain extent, bring the stability that we need. However, there are other issues that we need to consider. And key questions that we're asking ourselves as provincial government seated where we are, should we regulate this? Because it does appear that the season of coalition government is with us.
And I'm glad you mentioned it, because I was speaking to a political analyst earlier, and he was saying we need to find some stringent laws and guidelines to start regulating, this kind of relationship, even if we have to look at it through the Electoral Act. But talk to me about regulating it. What are your suggestions? What are you looking at?
Well, if you look at what we have currently in law, it's the type of a system that, or a mayoral system that we have. From this executive mayoral system that we have in Johannesburg, the only thing you can go...
MEC, one of the key things that was said in that interview now with Mbalente is some of the infrastructure developments that need to happen within the province. And of course, mentioning the disaster that we've seen in the past couple of months, and I'm talking about the flood disasters that we've seen. Gauteng being declared, a state of disaster last week for of course, the damages that we have been seeing. And of course, we know that the former mayor was talking about that extensively in terms of what needs to happen. So talk to us then, what does it mean that this has now been declared a state of disaster? And what are some of the plans that will be going ahead over the next couple of weeks? Because you will be working, I would imagine, very closely with the new mayor.
Yeah. Let us explain that the question of the state of emergency disaster, it's a function of the provincial government, of course, exercising that with a local municipality. Where we are, the process towards that is twofold. So the first one is an administrative process. Where we are, what has been happening until on the 23rd of January has been the administrative process that has unfolded. So we worked with the officials who went around and quantify the extent of the damage that we have that we had in the province, and thereafter submitted that to the National Center, Disaster Management Center. The National Disaster Management had then to verify the information we gave them. That was verified, and they came to the same conclusion as ours in terms of the extent of the damage. The big question was, what is it that you want disaster management to be declared on? We then agreed that ours, because it has already happened and it damaged quite a lot of properties, houses of people, streets, bridges, as we know in Hendrik Potgieter and so on. We then said we want to fix them. Where we are is that administratively we've been classified for that. What it means is the Executive Council of Gauteng, led by Premier Panyaza Lesufi, should then receive a report, which report they will receive from ourselves, and we will motivate to the EXCO why we think the province must be declared a disaster area. And then once that is done, which has not been done now, so we cannot say Gauteng has been declared as it is. Once that is done, then it will be declared. What will be the advantage of us doing that? The advantage will be that all the organs of state in the province would be mobilized together to ensure that they make a contribution towards the amount of money that, because when we quantified it in terms of rent and cents, and what the information we have now is that we're going to need 486 million to deal with the disaster. Of course, included there will be the municipality. The municipality will come on board and say, this is the contribution that we can make. The other advantage that we will then be able to access certain grants at the national level that are meant for such incidents, and therefore be able to address all the challenges that are there.
Of course, we know that several people are inconvenienced. There is a relocation process that needs to happen. One wonders then why this process took so long. I mean, you yourself are saying now it hasn't actually been declared because you still need to motivate for that, and that will then still be tabled and promoted at Exco. Why did it take so long? And also, how much money are we talking about, especially when we are talking about the relocation process? Will it be from that 480 million rands that you are now talking about?
You should remember that the Weather Bureau would have warned us, and our early warning system that we have as government would have warned us that the entire period of November, December, we're going to have an abnormal weather situation in our province. There's going to be a lot of rain that will be taking place, resulting in flooding. Now, in December, as we're trying to quantify that kind of weather would have continued until we entered into January. We needed to ensure that at the time when we submit information, we've touched all the areas. This amount of money that I'm talking about comes from what would have happened in Soweto, what would have happened in Sidibeng, what would have happened in the West Rand, in Tshwane, and Ekurhuleni. All the incidents that are linked to the floods, including the issues of relocation, the fact that people are temporarily located wherever they are. In some instances, we've got to build people houses as such. And so all of those costs are part of the amount of money that I've just mentioned. Yes, in the face of it, it can appear as if it took long, but the reality is that we were able to successfully, in a short period of time from where we are, ensure that we perform this difficult task. And as I said, the report, the classification was done on the 23rd of January. A Gazette has been put forth for public comments. At the same time, we are busy preparing a report, which report will then ensure that the ESCO in the province engage on it, and the Premier makes a determination and possibly declares the province.
All right, MEC, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Really do appreciate it. Of course, that was Gauteng MEC for CoGTA, Mr. Mzi Khumalo, talking about the state of affairs at municipality level, and of course, his reaction of the new mayor of Johannesburg, Thapelo Ahmed from Al Jama. Of course, he was talking extensively after being nominated as mayor, and we have to obviously say here that he is a transitional mayor, as the ANC has said, and one wonders then what that would mean in terms of stability within the city of Johannesburg Council and how long he will be mayor